It truly is an honor to stand with you and among you, and each and every one of you and your great passions gives me personally passion. My name is Frosty Wooldridge. It's also a pleasure that I can say, as far as Larry saying that the Spanish language does not have the word compromise, I'm the son of a U.S. Marine, 27 years in the United States Marine Corps. My father, Master Sergeant Howard Wooldridge, served this country. And he always told me, and he would put his hand around my shoulders, and if there was something out there that was difficult one way or the other, athletically, academically, or otherwise, my dad put his hands on my shoulder and he said, "Son, you can do that." Well, I've chased after my dreams and my goals and the American dream all my lifetime, traveling all over the planet on my bicycle, always knowing that my dad and my mom gave me the power, the ability, the extraordinary self-confidence to see a problem, see a challenge, see anything out there that I wanted to do or created a goal or whatever. And my dad slipped his hand over my shoulder and he just said, "You can do that." Well, my dad slips his hand over all of your shoulders and he tells you and he shares with you and he gives you the confidence that you can do that. And so whatever you do and whatever you're doing right now, and I know most of you in this room, I read you, I listen to you, I'm inspired by you. D.A. King inspires me. He's a U.S. Marine also. I snuck into the U.S. Army through an ROTC program, so I did another service. But every one of the services have granted us the great, extraordinary freedom that we share today, from the Valley Forge all the way to the sands of Iraq. And so I'm thankful that each one of you cares this much. You have this incredible patriotism. And so I'm just very touched to be among you and stand with you. And wherever you go, and wherever I go, my dad's hand is on my shoulder. So a couple of weeks ago, or a month or so ago, John Tanton said, "I'd like to have you organize some teams to go out there to the DNC and disperse some pamphlets." And so we just got into high gear, my wife Sandy and I, and we started thinking of ways that we could take this thing called DNC, Operation Drop Literature, and pass out this information and get people to think and talk. So we had 20 teams of 2 volunteers per team. They stayed together. We gave them sound bites when they had any kind of media attention. And as a matter of fact, we had 29 television and newsprint interviews from the Drop Literature program at the DNC. I don't know, I think there were 10 teams up there in the RNC with Del Erickson. He's not here today to give you that. But we gave these interviews and we had sound bites that I learned from the 21st Century Paul Revere ride across the country in 48 states and 48 capitals 2 years ago. We learned how to make sure the media couldn't manipulate us because we only gave them what we wanted them to hear. And so we gave those interviews to the prints, we gave the interviews to and I even gave the C-SPAN and also the Wall Street Journal. I mean, everywhere I saw somebody with a placard that said press, we all jumped out in front of them. In fact, we got on NBC in back of Senator Salazar from California with our Roy Beck sign that said, "This is a future that does not have to happen." That was on for like 5 minutes right there in the background. So we really penetrated the DNC. And as you can see from this little overpopulation in America, we slanted it with a democratic, liberal type of slant with sustainability, environment, global warming, and water crisis. And as you see right there, do you want to see this 100 million people added? And of course, will an Obama administration reduce legal immigration? We know that McCain won't. We, of course, changed that over up in the RNC and said we know Obama won't. And the fact is, we know they both won't. Because both of them not only voted for the amnesty of somewhere between 20 and 38 million illegal aliens in this country, they also voted for an ongoing anchor baby crisis, ongoing chain migration, and ongoing diversity visas. You name it, these guys they're both in favor. And not only that, they're in favor of doubling current legal immigration from 1.2 million per year to somewhere over 2.4 million per year, which will create an even greater flood. And then as we gave out these, we went, the teams we had walkie-talkies, we had cells. We would then go to hotels, we'd go to their venues, We went to Bronco Stadium. We were in the streets. We engaged them. I would go to the speakeasies and just say, hey, would you like to have something else to talk about during your lunchtime hour or your dinner hour? Sure. And we created a lot of discussion. 16,000 of these went out, along with FAIR. I want to thank FAIR. I want to thank Numbers, their teams, Ann Menendez, worked with her, worked with Roy, over at FAIR, Mary, all got me all of this. We had a packet, and we distributed and we brought the information to all of them. And so, who knows, a part of what is changing in this country today is that we're connecting the dots. You're connecting the dots, whether you write, whether you speak, whether you organize. I get all of Laura's stuff all the time. She's always there, and I write about it. And so this was also a part of that discussion. And in the end, we also had people say, well, you're a bunch of, and they named the word that they said. And at the same time, we'd say, would you like to see this 100 million? And of course, a couple guys came up and said, well, I've already been fixed. You don't have to worry about me. Okay, the big V, okay, don't want to be fixed. Sometimes we would say, do you want to see another 100 million people? And the persons would say, well, yeah, the more the merrier. And of course, brain dead America is sitting out there and going. I would say one lady, she got engaged. There's two ladies. And they said, I said, there's 18 million deaths every year already from overpopulation worldwide, from starvation and starvation-related diseases. She says, that's not true. The Lord will take care of everyone. And I said, well, that is true. I've already ridden my bicycle and watched it firsthand. I'm sorry, that's just not true. The Lord will take care of it. So we're really battling tremendous varieties of stances and tremendous differences. Even one guy said, he said that I have 4 children and one on the way. You don't want to talk to me. And as a matter of fact, I do want to talk to you, sir, because it's not about space, it's about carrying capacity, it's about water, it's about human dignity, it's about standard of living and quality of life. So again, we made a difference, and that difference, who knows how far it'll go and what it'll do. Just as Otis has written a book, I have a new book coming out in January, The Next Added 100 Million Americans, Nation on the Brink. And it will chronicle what's going to happen to this society as we magnify the current water crisis by 100 million more people, the current energy crisis by another 100 million people, and then, of course, another 100 million after that and 100 million after that. And hopefully that book goes to the bestseller list. I'll send it out to all the radio talk show hosts and so forth, because the key is we must educate, and we must inspire, and then we must activate. And that's what you're doing, and that's what all of us are doing. And I'm just very thankful that we have this opportunity, because each and every one of you in the 21st century, each and every one of you is the Thomas Jefferson in your talent, or the Paul Revere in his talent, or the Betsy Ross in her talent, or the Susan B. Anthony in her talent, or Dr. Martin Luther King in his talent, or any great American, or any other, Gandhi, or Mandela, or Gorbachev. The way we make change is because we have the passion, we have the energy, and we have the understandings that we are responsible for not only now but in the future, just like they were responsible back in 1776. And so I'm just thankful to stand with you and share with you that everything you do counts. Everything you do counts. And so 50 years from now, when they look back and they said, well, what did Numbers USA, or what did FAIR do, or what did the social contract do? They simply saved the country. They saved the civilization. They saved America for those in the future that are going to partake and be a part of this great, extraordinary United States of America. So each and every one of you, take a bow and be inspired and know that you're making a difference, and I stand with you. And you know something? My dad does too. Thank you very much.